say guided imagery. This is your book on how to quit whatever you want to quit.
Yeah.
So is guided imagery involved in that?
Oh, it's the second part of the sentence of the title is 10 steps to overcoming lifelong addictions.
Mm-hmm.
And the step number 6 is the one that deals with the guided imagery. It's one of my favorite steps because I had a 20-year battle with sugar. I was like a Twinkie addict. I was 200 pounds in my 20s. And now I'm in my 20th year being completely recovered from sugar addiction, any addiction. And step number 6 was the one where I went inside and I got in touch. I asked, you know, if there's a little child inside, you know, what are you feeling? And that was the beginning of the big change, the shift, and going from an addict to being a non-addict, just with doing guided imagery on myself.
You also have a personal testimony.
Oh yeah. What I like to share too is that it's not, a lot of people, you know, they go to 10-step programs and 12-step programs, actually mine is 10, and they stop doing the substance, you know. But I went to those meetings for a long time and I didn't see a lot of really happy people, enthusiastic, joyous. And so I like my stories especially because not only am I completely recovered from the whole addict thing, that is long gone, but also I manifested work that I love. So not only can I help people transform their lives based on how I did mine, how I transformed mine, but look what I manifested. A wonderful husband who adores me in spite of our little like this. We love each other. We've been together 9 years and we have an amazing life. So it's not just stopping the addiction, but it's having a life with a purpose and joy and excitement.
So do you use any other techniques besides the guided imagery?
Well, you know, I did the 12 steps for many years, 16 years in fact, and so you can't help but sort of, you know, have adopted some of those, and some of those are similar to the 12-step programs, but it's but with my own little twist on it. You know, some of them are things that I picked up at different places, because ever since I was 16, I was on this quest of how do I stop being a sugar addict, you know? And so I go, you know, here and there and talk to all these different people. So it's basically summed up in this tiny little book. I wanted it to be easy to read.
And it actually works.
Well, it worked on me, and it's worked on all the people that I've worked with, the smokers, the drinkers, the sugar addicts, the children. Oh, don't get me started. The children, just one session like that, poof. Suicide, do you know that there are children who are suicidal at 6 years old and at 7 years old who've tried to take their lives? Because I've seen them.
Really?
And in one session, they are just magically transformed. It's
and they're hyperactive children, and they're probably
troubled.
on Ritalin and medicated.
On medications, more than one often.
And then they're feeding them
and
all the
angry.
sugar. And
oh, yes, yes. One session with me, and the parents are like, what did you do to my child? And all I did was have the child do the guided imagery themselves. The imagery with me as a guiding them, and they go inside and they look, and I guide, and then they open their eyes. This one little girl that I saw, the real mother had so many problems with this little girl, real behavioral problems, real problem child. So at the end of her first little session with me, you know, first we bonded. I brought in a little pet of mine. I think it was a little white dove, and we bonded over the little dove. And then she lay down and closed her eyes, and I put a blanket over her, and she went inside. We maybe did a 10 or 15-minute little journey. And when she opened her eyes were really big, and she said, Corinna, and I'm not exaggerating, Corinna, why don't you share this with the world? And she put her arms out like that, and I said, honey, that's my goal.
So explain this imagery. It's guided imagery that they're doing, and they're going inward. Yes. And it's what's happening during that time. They're kind of blocking out all the stimulus that was outside.
What I do is I talk to them in a very relaxing voice, and they just go into what we call an alert trance. So they're in a trance, but it's not like look at the clock and go to sleep, and it's not like I touch them and say sleep.
Is it hypnotherapy?
It's closely related. It's like a cousin. But I like this because I am more the tour guide for my clients. I'm not making them go to sleep. I'm not giving them suggestions like, when you wake up, cigarettes will taste like dirt. You'll never want a cigarette because you don't want to taste dirt. It's not like that. What I do is I take them inside to visit what is keeping them stuck. So if they're depressed, we go visit the part that's depressed. If they can't stop smoking, we visit the part that doesn't want to stop smoking. And we listen. We both listen. And my client, usually mostly my client, but I end up also talking to that part. It's very interesting. I introduce myself to that part and I say, I know you've been with my client a long time and you've been trying to help my client, but now my client wants to do something different. Do you think there's a way we could work out a deal or something? It's amazing.
It sounds very playful, very experiential, very in the moment.
Yes, it is. It's very intuitive.
Yes.
It's very intuitive, yeah. And I never know what I'm going to run into. Yeah. You never know. My client could go to a past life.
How many sessions would you need to?
Well, I like to tell people, if you really want to see some change, then I suggest you sign up with me for 2 months. If you're an addict, if you're a sugar addict, you need to tack on another month. But if it's something like smoking, we could probably do 4 sessions. But if it's depression or alcoholism or drugs, we need to work together for just a short amount of time.
So there's no talk to it. It's not a talk therapy.
No, there is a little bit of talking where I talk about the other steps that are important, like how you talk to yourself and how do you talk to other people and how do you treat yourself and things like that just, life skills. A lot of people don't, what are you eating? Are you eating well? Are you drinking your water? Things like that people don't think are important. And so I include that too. And so there's a little bit of talk therapy, but it's not like I don't sit back and go, how does that make you feel? I don't do that. It's very fast.
Have you used this for yourself, for other uses?
Well, I used to be a smoker.
Yes.
I used to drink in an unhealthy fashion. I don't know if I was really an alcoholic, but the way I drank was not really social and probably a little too much. So I would say I pretty much abused anything that could give me some sort of a little buzz, even caffeine.
How about body disorders, sickness, illnesses?
Now that you bring it up, I did have 2 brain surgeries. So I believe that I developed the brain tumor because I was suicidal, because I couldn't control the food. It was just ridiculous. And so I wanted to die. So, but there could be other reasons, I don't know. But so I had my first brain surgery in 1990, where they go up the nose and drill 2 holes in your head. So not pleasant at all. So then 12 years later, because they couldn't get the whole thing, they had to do it again, because it's impossible to get the whole thing. And so they said, Corinna, we can't keep doing this every 12 years because we can't get the whole thing. So this time you're going to have to do radiation and chemo and that sort of thing. And I said, I don't think so, because I'm going to do guided imagery with this tumor. And guess what? They got the whole thing.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Beautiful.